Look at this on the 1 minute time frame here. I know it is degenerate, but this is some crazy price action. If we zoom out just a little bit more and take a look at what's happened here with Bitcoin, we have broken key levels right now. And the question is, how high can this thing go? Or are we going to get smacked back down and this turning into a disaster? And that's what I want to cover with you in this YouTube video. This is ripe for trading. I'm still in my long position, as you know, right now, and I'm enjoying this gain. I was in a short position. I've now closed it at break even. I have a lot to share with you in this YouTube video. As you know, I am active in these markets, trading on the exchanges linked down here, especially the top three that you're seeing here: BingX, Bybit, PrimeXBT. Check them out. No KYC on BingX, and you can trade Tesla stock, Apple stock with leverage. You can trade the S&P 500, gold, oil, without KYC. No pictures of yourself, no pictures of your ID. Absolutely crazy offer. And Bybit giving you up to $30,000 to trade with. Well worth checking out. More on them later, but the links are there if you're interested right now. The price has broken above the 26.8 area of resistance and the 27.4. And this was the main area that I said Bitcoin is going to face now. We have just blasted right through that, and this has some really strong implications. There's a few developments here that I have to talk to you about that you need to know about, right? And one of them that I want to share with you right off the bat here is going to be this falling wedge. Now, this is something that we've known about. In fact, one of my most recent videos, I think, in fact, just my last video that I made with you guys on this YouTube channel, I spoke a lot about the weekly time frame. And what I was talking to you guys about, guys, was for this final... Oh, wow, and this is actually the last... Okay, so this actually, like, extra confirms everything I said in that video, which is that, like, I was talking to you guys, like, before this candle had fully, because this is a big last day of the candle, right? I mean, by the way, let's put this in perspective just so we kind of understand where we are. Look at this daily candle here. We haven't seen any price action like this at all on the upside for a while. Maybe since here, this is the most recent comparable candle, which was a 2.36% candle. This is a little bit more than that. But this in and of itself was the beginning of May. So we're going back 25 days, nearly a whole month. We haven't seen this kind of volatility for a really long period of time. And if we take a look at this on the weekly time frame, what I was warning you guys about, literally just, if not in my last video, the second last video, was that the weekly candles were showing clear signs of reversals. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't drop down, and that's still the case. I'm going to break down the nuances for you right here as well, because if you're new to the channel, what you're getting here is very grounded, realistic analysis. But being grounded and being realistic means that you entertain nuances. It means that you explore nuances thoroughly. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And the reality of doing that is it's hard and it's emotionally challenging, to be honest, because you kind of have to, tell yourself things that you don't want to hear a lot of the time. But fortunately for you, you have me to do that. You don't have to do that for yourself because I'll do it for you. And you can hate me instead of hating yourself. So if we come back to the market here with the weekly candles here, again, just staying very realistic. The fact was we were starting to print some reversal candles here, indicating that momentum might be reversing to the upside, which is exactly what happened here, right? We had some weekly reversal candles, and then the very next week was the final week of upside, capped the upside, and we started trending down. So sometimes it doesn't take immediate effect, sometimes it does take immediate effect. But bottom line, what we are seeing here is the result of momentum being lost in the market. And I also illustrated this with a falling wedge. This is one of the most typical bullish patterns for Bitcoin. Typically, we're going to be using these actually in bullish trends, where we then form these kind of pullbacks that end up going up, which is exactly what we had right here with the breakout. So we are typically going to see these in bull markets, but we can also get these patterns coming up in bear markets, right? Where we kind of trade down something a little bit like this with a lot of momentum. We're dropping down, and then we start dropping down with a little bit less momentum, okay? So we're dropping down here with a lot of momentum, and we're still dropping, but with a little bit less, okay? And that is an indication that actually the tides are shifting, and maybe we're getting ready to do something like this, which is exactly what Bitcoin has pulled off. So we knew about this. This is the kind of thing that we regularly talk about on the YouTube channel. I know a lot about TA. Obviously, I've been trading these markets for over 6 years, but as a result of trading these markets for an incredibly long period of time, I know what works, and that's what I'm focusing on highlighting to you guys. I don't care about teaching you every single thing that goes from A to Z, although I most certainly have done that as well with the 4 Flies Academy course, which you can pick up for free when you join VIP most of the time. Just follow me. Just check out these steps on screen right here to message me and ask me for details. This is a direct chat with me. You can also find the links right down here in the description. I certainly do teach about that stuff, but what I'm more interested in right now is what works all the time, what works with a really good, kind of track record, something that's very consistent, something that works most of the time, and it is these falling wedges. So, that's why I highlighted it to you, and we've seen that breakout now, which is absolutely beautiful. And what's big, and I did mention this to you earlier as well, is that we've got these really important kind of resistance levels that are scattered around the range all the way up to 28.6, and we've now broken two of the biggest ones. So the biggest one is what we're in right now for sure, and I will show you that in just a minute. Smash up the likes if you are excited for that, you absolute legends. We do have the most resistance right now, but we've also cleared important levels which were problematic for Bitcoin. I mean, we were finding support here consistently for a period of 11-12 days, and then we were also finding resistance here for a little bit, right, for about a day and a half. So we've now seen the breakout from there. This area was very clear resistance. We've also seen the breakout from there, so we are now in a pretty interesting place in this market. And if we actually take a look at the key indicators that I was using to show me resistance here, we have a lot with the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud, but we've already plowed through most of it, right? I mean, we've already kind of gone through most of this Ichimoku cloud right here. And granted, what's really important is that the bottom line of the Ichimoku cloud, look at this right here, look at this right here, and look at this right here. The bottom line of the Ichimoku cloud is usually going to be very important, and so is the top line. Okay, equally, actually. They're equally important. So we are about to hit the worst area of resistance on this indicator if we get just a little bit higher, right? If we manage to get up to $27,800. Also worth noting, this 4-hour 200 moving average also sitting right here rejecting Bitcoin. So this 200 moving average is like, I can't give you spoilers, but it's like, you're watching a TV show, you're north of the wall, and there's just this one cunt that just comes and saves you just randomly. Like, you don't expect it. He's just there. Every time your favorite character is about to die, he just shows up and saves the day, and he fucks back off. And that's exactly what the 200 moving average is on every time frame, to be honest, guys. If we look at this on the weekly time frame, look at this. We found support right here off our low. This is exactly where we bottomed out. It's kind of crazy, right? So this is just the plot armor that we have right here, and it really, really does make a difference if we look at it on the daily time frame. Look at it just perfectly, calling all of these bounces, calling these rejections, right? So the 200 moving average is not something we're gonna fade. Okay, the 200 moving average is something we're going to be taking very seriously. And in fact, I think just for this video, just to really drive that home, we're making this line thick, ladies and gents, because it deserves to be, and so, that I think is really important. There's also the VPVR. If we zoom out just a little bit more and take a look at what the VPVR is showing us, we are seeing the biggest spike still directly over Bitcoin's head. So there are still multiple unrelated indicators that are providing resistance to us in this range. If we look at it on this Coinbase chart as well, we have the green box. We've got the 200 moving average, we've got the Ichimoku cloud, we've got the VPVR. What we don't have, and this is really interesting, is we don't have bearish momentum anymore. Okay, the EMA ribbon for Bitcoin did not have a chance to reject Bitcoin strongly, although it certainly did still reject Bitcoin multiple times, right? 10x leverage on any of these moves, you're looking at 30 to 50% profit. So shout out to those of you that did take advantage of that. This is something I was talking to you guys about a lot on this YouTube channel, with the daily EMA ribbon potentially offering some resistance to Bitcoin. There's been a lot of gems we've been dropping on this channel lately. If you have appreciated them, do me a favor and hit up those likes. And if you are interested in trading these markets, again, these exchanges are well worth checking out. Prime XBT and BingX both allow you to trade these very cool traditional finance markets, and Bybit and OKX both give you up to $30,000 in cash bonuses, trading bonuses, discounts, whatever the case may be. Bybit will just give it to you in straight cash just into your account. You can trade with it, you can make money with it, you can withdraw the profits. If you already have an account, you can make a brand new one and you still get the bonus, which is really cool, and that applies to OKX too. So they're all well worth checking out. You can Google it as well if you want to get some more options, but there is a lot that is available for you to just kind of jumpstart what you're doing, push you forward a little bit by a month, by 2 months, it makes a difference. You know, it just kind of cuts the time that you have to spend down. If you have more money to trade with, you can make more profits. So it's a really, really cool offer that's worth checking out. But this daily EMA ribbon here, guys, look at this. We've broken above the daily EMA ribbon, and we are going to start flipping bullish as well if this momentum stays with us, this bullish momentum here. So this is definitely something that's worth paying attention to right now. You know, we haven't actually invalidated any resistance yet other than the daily EMA resistance. Okay, so that is really important. What we've also done, now that we've come back above this level, and this I really like because it's one of the things I was most frequently warning you guys about, is that Bitcoin has formed another deviation. Now, we don't know if we're going to stay here. If we get sent back down, then this is just more fuckery, basically like what happened in this price range, which would be pretty annoying if we had to deal with that again. But so far, what it looks like, especially if we zoom in a little bit, is that the real price action happens above this yellow line, and it's time to remove these. Actually, that line should probably stay because this could actually be useful again. Let's actually just stretch this out. And let's keep an eye on this line. I think this is going to be important. I'm going to remove this one, though. And if we just extend this box out, I think what's really clear now, ladies and gents, is that the real price range for Bitcoin is going to be everything above this yellow line up to this yellow line, right? But we have just had, you know, a couple detours here where we fell out of it a little bit, you know, but we're now back in the game. You know, we're back in this sideways range. So, you know, this is something that's worth keeping in mind. If this is going to turn out to be some sort of deviation, we've now played it out and it's complete, and we are ready to start testing the upside now. I'll get to what might happen a little bit higher up. First, let's switch focus to the 4Flies dashboard. If we take a look at the numbers we're seeing today, we got a reading of 50 on the Fear and Greed Index, which is okay. There's nothing too much I can say about that. But the long and short ratio still across the board, very high, very high. Bybit, for the first time in a while, quite bullish right now, ladies and gents. 1.2 long positions for every short now. Yeah, and Bybit is the platform that experts, that professionals, that people who are really serious are using. Binance too, for sure. Binance is super popular, but Bybit, you know, if you're serious about trading, you already know it's just the place to be, right? So you take their numbers a little bit more seriously than you're going to take Binance's numbers. And yeah, we are looking at something pretty significant here, in my opinion, right? For the first time in a while, Bybit, you know, traders, both retail and top traders, are most interested in going long. You know, and that's the same thing we've had on Binance for a while. But the thing that's significant about this is if everybody and their nan is trading one particular direction, in my experience, it generally happens to be the case that that is exactly what happens before the markets crash. So I'm not saying that's going to happen right now because, you know what, so far we are showing a lot of strength. Bitcoin sitting at 27.6, Ethereum sitting at 1850. If you compare this to the kind of price levels that we saw previously, we are doing better, you know, and I don't like this part of the UI, by the way. This is probably going to change, but, you know, we clearly are picking up right now, you know, so, it, you know, and we're breaking resistance levels. We are still at resistance, granted, but we're breaking them too, you know, but I am still going to have to lean a little bit more on the bearish side because even though things are looking pretty nice right now, that can be temporary. And what you can't ignore is the fact that there are a lot of people here that are putting a lot of liquidity heavily on the long side, okay? And if they're putting a lot of liquidity heavily on the long side, it is going to be so profitable to send the market back down, okay? And given that we are clearly in a market which is being manipulated, which you can see so clearly from the kind of price action back here, is it completely unreasonable to say that we can do something like that again right now? Hell no. Hell no, absolutely not. So, you know, and by the way, this could be the only liquidity grab and then we just come back down. It could be that we grab liquidity here, grab it up, and then move in the original direction, right? And that is something that Bitcoin does all the time. It is so common that Bitcoin, before it starts trending lower, it'll just set a high right here. It'll set a high, it'll deviate above it to fuck everybody, and then it'll actually come back down. It'll fuck everybody here, it'll come back up to fuck everybody here, and then move down. It's just the reality. You might not like what I'm saying, you might not like how I'm saying it, but the market doesn't care about that. The market is brutal and it will destroy you, all right? Especially if you don't know what to look out for when it comes to things like this. So that is still something that I'm still very much focusing on and taking seriously. The fact is that we do still have a lot of resistance. Yes, we have a lot of strength right now. We've broken out of a bullish wedge. We've broken out of daily EMA resistance. Those are two really good developments here. Weekly time frame looking pretty good. We're actually clawing back this monthly time frame. Don't forget, guys, it's only a few days left until this month of May, the 5th month of 2023, is over. And in that time, what are we looking at? We're looking at a candle that an April, which was clearly a reversal candle, okay? Because we tested the high, we tested the low, we ended up in the middle. Look at my crosshair, the one that's going up and down. So we clearly tested the high, we clearly tested the low, we ended up in the middle. And when that happens within a trending market, right, with these kind of candles, that's a really strong sign that actually we might be losing momentum. What happens in the next candle? We visit some fairly extreme lows, like relative to where we were before. We're down to the 25.8, 25.9 range. So we're definitely dropping down a fair bit. But where do we close? We've got 3 days left on this candle. If this candle closes any higher, then what happens is we've got a... Why is my paintbrush tool not coming? We've got a reversal candle here, followed by testing the lows, followed by closing significantly higher than that. Okay, so let me break down what that means. In April, we're shaky. We need a correction. The monthly candle shows us that. So May, we get a correction. I think you're on the same page with me there. That's pretty obvious, okay? April candle, clearly not as bullish as this candle right here. So we need a correction. The correction happens throughout April. It spills in over into May. And in May, we actually test a low level. And the market's like, no, we're not doing this. We get sent right back up. And then we close significantly higher. What does that tell us? That tells us in the month before, we had a good amount of time to test the highs and the lows, see what we're happy with. We end up in the middle. Okay, whatever. It's not a big deal, right? At least we're not dropping. The next month, we're actually testing lows. And the market decides, actually, no, I want to be higher than this. And that shows you that we've given the bears a chance. All right? The bears had a chance in April. They had a chance in May. And so far, if what we're seeing continues, and especially if it gets better, we are going to very, very clearly see that the bears have been given a big window of opportunity, 2-month window of opportunity. That is generous. That is generous, guys. I mean, if you're bearish, and the market hasn't been able to take advantage of it yet, I would definitely start thinking, is this the right, kind of stance to have in the market? Because if you can't take it in 2 months, are you going to take it? You got to keep in mind, we are still in an uptrend, okay? Within this kind of mid to short-term trend, since the very beginning of this year, we are still trending up. And we have now formed a correction. By the way, I want to point something out to you. We did exactly the same thing with Bitcoin right here. Look at this wick. This was the same thing. We had a reversal candle followed by a test of the lows, and the market closed way higher. Way higher. Are we going to see something like that right now? Probably not. Would be very cool if we did. I would definitely make an absolute shitload of money on my current long position. I am riding this wave up. I'm definitely enjoying it. My stop loss has been in a big profit for a very long time, and I've already secured over $100,000 in this position. I've already more than doubled my money. And I would love that. But I don't think it's going to happen. What I do think would be more likely to happen if this gets better throughout the next 3 days before we get the monthly close. What I think would make this better, what I think this would result in, is simply a very bullish June. I think that we would have a happy summer. I think that June, July, August could turn out to be quite promising months for Bitcoin if we get a strong close on this candle. And so far, we are definitely trying to move in that direction. So let's break down the more immediate price levels now. If we're looking at the 28K area of resistance, this is where a lot of it falls, in my opinion. There's just been so much consolidation here, and it's actually something that I warned you guys about way back in March when we were actually in this price range, which was that when we form this kind of thing, the really good news is that it should act as support if we need it in the future. But the bad news is that it's probably also going to be resistance in the future if we fall below it. And that is exactly what's happened right here with all of this price action that we're seeing right now. This very same green box that, basically demonstrates where a lot of support and a lot of consolidation on this chart is, this very same green box is now causing problems for Bitcoin. No surprise whatsoever. We know this very well on this YouTube channel because we stick to the basics. We stick to the fundamentals that work 100% of the time, or at least close enough to it. We don't try and complicate our lives because we don't have to. These markets are a lot simpler than that, all right? Ultimately, all we are doing is we're responding to support levels, we're responding to resistance levels, and yeah, sometimes we're faking out a little bit just so that it keeps us on our toes, right? Just to keep the blood flowing. That's how I take it. You can choose to have a negative mindset on this and think all the bullshit you want to think, or you can just think that this is a game. And I'll tell you right now, from myself and many of the best traders I've ever met in my life, and these guys are fucking good. I wish I could trade like them. The best traders that I've seen are always the people who just see it as a game. They just see it as a game. They don't see it as I need to pay for health insurance. They don't see it as I need to pay my university bills. They don't see it as, I need to make the mortgage. They see it as a video game. In fact, many of the best traders now are the guys that were playing video games 10, 15 years ago. So that's just how it works. If you're able to make this feel like a game, if you're able to not take it too seriously, as in, you don't stress yourself out about it, you're just going to find yourself making better decisions. So that's the outlook that I hope I can help you guys move towards, because when you start to view the market this way, wow, this is, okay, only a 21-minute video. I thought it said 31. When you start to view the market this way, everything starts making a lot more sense, and you can start taking much more advantage of everything that's in front of you as well. So that definitely makes things a little bit more exciting. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the dollar index. Okay, we haven't actually seen this market open yet. It will open in the next 2 hours, so this will be very interesting. I'll probably make a follow-up video to that if there's something interesting here. Make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on that content. And while you are down there, also just check the top link in the description. This is my 4Flies Daily channel, and it's where I give you more analysis from myself and my team in video form, and it's all about altcoins, right? So we've got all your classic shit coins that you love, and we're just kind of covering the trendy coins, the things that look interesting for opportunities. I'm also obviously interested in trading altcoins, so I'm talking to you about that primarily on that YouTube channel. I've been very interested in the price action on Matic and Ethereum for quite some time, including the other kind of hype coins as well, just because they can be pretty predictable. It's nice when, if you understand human psychology once, you just have to apply it to every different environment, and it's kind of like, you just throw something into a machine and you get a predictable outcome. That's how these meme coins work in terms of price action and trading. So, and the real problem with them is that they're just so irrational. So it's just hard to put your money in there safely. It's easy to identify what might happen, but to actually trade it is so dangerous because, you can't really set a stop loss. It's, and if you can't set a stop loss, it's not worth trading at all. Like, I still cannot believe how many people trade without a stop loss. It blows my fucking mind. Like, I'll look you straight in the face right now and tell you that you are a bloody idiot if you're not using a stop loss. I wish I could say it like a million more times on this video. It is the most irresponsible, ridiculously stupid thing I can think of. And a lot of people think it's okay because they just think they're smart. You're not fucking smart, mate. You're an idiot and you don't respect your money. Use a fucking stop loss. Use a seatbelt. These are basic things. These are basic things. We don't need to try and be fucking Rando Norris. And feel like we're invincible and we're smarter than every fucking other cunt in the world that has to use adequate protection when they put their money in financial markets. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just be smart about your capital. it will serve you a lot better than thinking you've got balls of fucking steel that drag down to your knees. I promise you. I've been there before. I'm speaking from experience, and that's why I'm so passionately telling you how stupid you are if you don't use a stop loss. Anyway, I think that's a good note for me to end this video. If you do want to try it on the same platforms I'm using, check them out with the links in the description down below. I'll come back to you guys pretty soon. You already know the deal. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy. Cheers.